First of all, we have a massive giant explosion in Erbil that just happened. These are all from the past 24 hours. We had kamikaze drone strikes deployed by the Iranian regime, struck the Kurdish opposition bases in northern Iraq. So that's number one. Number two, we have Hamas agreed to a draft disarmament framework. This is again in the past 24 hours, but there's a lot of skepticism regarding whether both sides will actually fulfill the multi-stage peace plan. I would, if I was a betting man, I would bet on not. Then we have the third one. We have proxies of the Islamic Republic launch a drone strike on Egyptian port. Guys, the war is expanding. First, we're going to Ukraine. Now we're going all the way to Egypt. Egypt is being dragged into the war. The geographic area where this war is being covered is basically getting more. Now we're getting to North Africa. So Egyptian port infrastructure near the Suez Canal. So now we get 3 ports, 3 waterways, guys. We had the Strait of Hormuz. We have the Bab el-Mandab. Now we have the Suez Canal. So Bab el-Mandab, Strait of Hormuz, and now Suez Canal is being added. So sparking major security alarms across global trade routes. And then the fourth one is, if you guys want to talk about the mass Islamic invasion of Spain in the city of, I don't know how to, people keep hearing the pronunciation. Ceuta. I don't know how to pronounce this.
My voice is gone. Cuenta.
There's no endo. Cuenta?
I know, doesn't, it's Spanish.
It's
Don't
just
worry about
Spanish.
it.
It's Spanish. Cuenta. Okay, cuenta. Wow, that's pretty misleading. Cuenta. There's a major European border crisis there. So quickly, I will explain each one of these now that you know the headlines. So the kamikaze drone strikes rocked Erbil, causing massive fireballs and heavy damage to Kurdish party base, which, you know what, I don't mind that at all. The attack was conducted by the Iranian regime as part of the continuous military campaign against northern Iraq. You know, when it comes to the separatist groups and the Islamic Republic fighting each other, I mean, I think go at it as much as you want. You know, I wish you both success. Air defense batteries near U.S. facilities in Erbil were activated. I mean, I feel bad for the Kurdish people in Iraq, okay, but if any separatist groups bases are being taken out, that's fine. And American warplanes scrambled to protect the region. Also, let me be clear. I also don't think the border integrity of Iraq being violated. I'm against that as well. So the attacks by the Islamic Republics have repeatedly hit camps, civilian homes. Yep, that's bad, actually. And opposition headquarters in Iraqi Kurdistan throughout July. So that's that. The Hamas one that I think, like, I hope a lot of you have something to say about, because I want, especially Sapir, I want to hear what you think about this, because I'm very skeptical about this being meaningful at all, about it being anything. So Hamas conditionally accepted a draft roadmap for phased disarmament in Gaza. U.S. President Donald Trump praised the deal brokered by the Board of Peace as a historic breakthrough. So, guys, Board of Peace is President Trump's basically competition to United Nations, which I celebrate, but I don't celebrate this plan. I think competition to United Nations is good. So the plan relies on independent verification rather than trust, transferring weapons to a neutral Palestinian committee. Yeah, Palestinian committee, basically one terrorist group giving weapons to another terrorist group. That's what it sounds like to me, Palestinian committee. Anything Palestinian is terroristic. Implementation faces major risk due to political resistance in Israel and attempts by the regime in Iran to sabotage the deal. The process could take up to 350 days, meaning the threat posed by Hamas is far from immediately over. And then the other one that I just talked about was the drone strike hit a U.S.-owned gas tanker in the Egyptian Mediterranean port. I can't read the person's name. I wish it was written in Arabic. It would be easier to pronounce for me. Egyptian cabinet confirmed the blaze was a deliberate air attack near the Suez Canal. Maritime security experts heavily attribute the attack to proxy forces backed by the Iranian regime. The strike threatens global shipping routes alternative to the Persian Gulf and the Red Sea. Egypt joined an international maritime defense coalition to protect regional waterways. Saudi Arabia is trying to, by the way, make a coalition of Arab countries and also not just Arab countries, but all countries to push back against the Islamic Republic. We'll see how successful that. And the Spain story, I think most of you have already seen the crazy footages. It's like World War Z. tens of thousands. I think it's like between more than 50,000. Some people are saying 100,000. Tens of thousands of migrants crossed the Morocco, crossed Morocco into Spanish enclave of, oh my god, I already forgot the city's name. Ceuta, Cunta, something like that. Cunta. Okay. Spain deployed military forces very late, by the way, and maritime units to secure the border as reception centers reach capacity. Um, there were here over 50,000 migrants were returned. No, over 25,000 migrants were returned, while dozens lost their lives in the sea crossing. The crisis was okay. So I'm not going to read the rest of it. I just wanted you guys to speak. But guys, a lot of people are saying this is what you get when you have a commie government in Spain, and a lot of people are pointing out to how much the president of Spain was attacking Israel for defending their borders. Maybe they should have focused on defending their own borders instead of attacking Israel for defending theirs. Anyways, I'm going to stop talking. Sorry for the long intro. Were there any twos on any of these topics in the chat?
Yes, there is now, and I have a full response for everything, but
Okay.
I'll let Noah go first.
Thank you, Sapir. I did. That is good that Spain sent its sound like its military to the border, and I'm not going to even pronounce the name because I'll butcher it too. But I wish they had done it sooner, like beforehand, because we hopefully this is a lesson to them that they need to have stronger borders and not have open borders all the time, because open borders don't work. But yeah, that's my main response on that.
Thank you, Noah. I would just say about, if we're starting with the Spain thing, they now claiming that they returned 48,000 back. They only deployed the military after there were enough video footage of Moroccans breaking into houses. Throughout the entire time they got into the country, there was nothing. It was only when there were enough videos of breaking into stores. It's a city of 80,000 people. You can't just. But only then they sent the military. They were very reluctant to. So I think it's an important thing to do. Today in the stream, me and Guy talked about it a bit because someone asked our opinion, and like someone said, should Israel send something, a way to help them? And we were like, nah, this is what you get for accepting this. Because in the end, and I think it's something that's really important to say, even though a lot of people in Europe love to say that they don't agree with everything that's happening, or that they are against all this taking over, in the end, there's enough of a border base for the people that wanted all of this for them to rise to the power. So we need to ask ourselves, how many people do we have today that are truly against this? How many of the voters truly against this? Because there is a huge community that is for it. But that's about Spain. Kathy?
So what we looked it up in the previous stream. Apparently, most Spanish people didn't vote for this president. So that's why we should like feel bad for the Spanish people. Like more than 80% of the Spanish people didn't actually vote for this president. It's just the way that their elections work. Yeah.
Then I need to look up the way their elections work.
Yeah, it's weird.
Okay, Samantha.
Getting back, because it's like I know what it is like being that far leftist person who, like, my reaction to that news would have been to insist that these are just people who want a better life coming into Spain, and anyone who thinks otherwise is racist, and not be able to have any other conversation past that. So it's like I'm like mentally trying to, like, I don't know, think back to what that was like, and like, yeah, how do you, because it's like I don't know how to like reach people
how would you, if somebody right now, what's your argument against that? So as somebody who used to think like that, how would you push back against that claim yourself?
I had to, like, honestly, because I truly believed that, like, somewhat like, there's no correlation between where someone grew up and, like, what values or, like, actions someone would do in life, and I had to, like, understand like, I had to but, like, at the same time, I did have, like, specific examples that were very contradictory to that, and I never, like, looked at the 2 together and said, "Wait, these both can't be correct because these both directly contradict each other." Like, it can't be true that someone that, like, someone from one country can't, on average be more, like, what's it called, like, sexist than someone from another country on average, but at the same time, I knew someone from Afghanistan right now is more sexist than like, I had, like, little examples that kinda, like, broke that I didn't, like, realize, like, wait, I actually have a few examples, like, and I just never thought about the 2 together to, like, break that, and that's kinda, like, what it took in a weird way, was, like, being like, "Wait, isn't this, like, a contradiction?" And I don't know how I never, like, had that moment earlier in life where I'm like, "Wait, I can't think both these things."
Okay. If you had to explain to somebody who still thinks like that in 2 lines only, something that you think would be the most effective in making them consider your new perspective, what would you say based on your understanding of how they think?
That, like, we're a product of our experience. And, like, if you can believe that there was a time where the average German was more anti-Semitic than, like, the average American was at that time, then by definition, you believe that it's possible for people in one country to be more anti-Semitic on average than people from another country. So, like, why are you so convinced that, like, just because of melanin that, like, it can't we can't have a certain situation of thought.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. That's helpful. Good to know these things. All right. Because I don't know works on these people. You know better.
Kathy.
So at this point, I'm wondering, now that they're in the Spanish territory, I don't know how in the world does the government intend to give all these people asylum, as it's going to overwhelm the system. At the same time, I don't think they were anticipating this many people coming in. So, yeah, I don't. It's astonishing. I don't even know what to think by watching all of these videos on regarding what's happening.
Thank you. Monkey? Monkey muted.
I wanted to point out something that some people are maybe not understanding. This is not on the Spain side of the Strait of Gibraltar. This is on the Moroccan side of the Strait of Gibraltar. There's a little section at the corner of the Moroccan side of the Strait of Gibraltar that is Spanish territory, right? So these people can't just walk over to other, like, to Portugal. They can't do that. They're on the other side of the sea, right? There's no way for them to walk over anywhere but that little corner. All right. So that situation needs to be highlighted. Another thing is that me and Armin checked out, like, the voting support that this president has. It was not just 84% did not vote for it. I think they do some kind of parliamentary coalition government shit, and that's how they got into power. Like, a whole bunch of leftist organizations pulled together their sides, and this is why I hate that you can't directly vote for your president over in a lot of places, because I think that's how you wind up getting Keir Starmer. That's how you wind up getting a lot of these assholes that don't have the charisma or the support to pull it off on their own. And that's what happened over there. And I think those 2 points are very important. That also, I don't think that this is America's revenge against Spain for winning the World Cup. I think that's a little ridiculous. I also don't think, like Nick Fuentes was trying to say, that the Jews are doing this because they want the Islam to control NATO's nuclear arsenal. I think that's also stupid. I think this is basically a lot of NGOs that have done this kind of thing before. They have done it all over South America. They have done it specifically in Africa before. And one of the things they do is they help guide, they help support, they help these people find a way to the north. I wouldn't they UNRWA is just one of the terrible UN NGOs. I'm sure there's many more, and I'm sure there's other NGOs that aren't related to directly to UN that would also aid and assist in this.
Okay, thank you, Monkey. Nail Bunny.
Yeah, I think it's probably similar to the UK, where because he's prime minister, people vote for that party, and then that party wins, and then they have the most seats, and so then he's the prime minister. That's probably what it is. Yeah, so you can't vote for him at all. But it sounds very similar to here as well, because I think Labor got put in power with 22% of the vote, which is crazy, obviously. One of the things that no one's really mentioned yet is that Georgia Maloney is actually saying that Spain should be thrown out of Schengen. Now that's a big deal, a very big deal. That means if you're not in Schengen, there's no you're basically not in the EU. Maybe they'll have a seat or something, but anyway, it's essentially saying your wall, the wall around Spain, it's not porous now. You can't there's no freedom of movement between Spain and all the other countries in the EU. That is a big deal.
I'm sorry, Nail Bunny, what is Schengen?
Schengen is it's just part of like the EU charter. It's about so basically as a bloc, if you're in the EU, it's a trading bloc. You have seats in the European Parliament, but it's also things about, it's called freedom of movement. So freedom of movement means that when we were in the EU, if I got a job in France, I would have to obey. So they would have their rules about being able to make enough money to support myself. I'm not going to be on benefits or something like that. But if I get a job in the EU, anywhere in the EU, I can just move there and I can take up that job. And that's why when the UK left the EU, suddenly all these people that were European they were EU citizens, and they had to essentially apply to be citizens of the UK or go back home, basically. So it was chaotic there. But what she's basically saying is, if this guy is going to just have the borders completely open and everybody floods in, well, then that means if they go into Spain, they can go into any of the countries in the EU because they came from Spain. And if he keeps doing the same things that he's doing, like giving them voting rights and probably citizenship, all this crap, then it's like you are not following the rules of the EU. You need to be thrown out of the EU. Now, if they're thrown out of the EU, oh wow, it's going to be worse, more chaos than what you're looking at right now. And another thing that, if anybody, I've seen this online, is that people saying, oh, well, it belongs to Morocco, right? They should just take it or whatever. It's probably theirs anyway. Spain is being imperialistic by having that region at the tip of Morocco. But the fact is that it's been Spanish for over 6 centuries. So it's it basically, I think, what is it? I have it written down. It's conquered by Portugal in 1415, and then it became part of Spain, and it's been Spanish ever since. So those people that are living there, they are Spanish, and that has been Spanish land for a very, very long time. So that's basically just bullshit. Yep.
Okay, thank you. I'm just going to read out something that Jose had to say. The bigger threat is the Muslim invasion over the northern border with France. In 50 to 60 years can make it walking to the Camino de Santiago. Is that right? Thank you. Well, so basically the bigger threat is not even from the Moroccan side, but the border with France.
My name is Armin Navabi. I'm an Iranian political analyst with decades of experience fighting the Islamic regime inside and outside of Iran. Make sure you follow me for more, and also make sure you join our discussion group. I'm there almost every single day. Come talk to me there and the rest of the people there in our group calls. It's a great place to meet and talk to people who like talking about politics. The link is in the description and or in the bio. You could also get there by scanning the QR code on the screen. See you there.